Welcome to Civitai.com, the home of the generative AI art community. If you enjoy this video, please consider hitting us with a like and subscribing, as it'll go a long way in helping us continue to bring you the highest quality AI community content. Please enjoy the video today. So, okay, we already got about 200 people in Twitch alone right now. So yeah, we're gonna get started. Guys, what up? Welcome back. I hope everyone had a good holiday. I know not everyone celebrates, so happy holidays. And I hope at the very least you guys had a good day off and ate some good food with people you love and all that good stuff. With that being said, I got a special one for you guys today. My man SirDushon is here, and I know I showed you guys his Instagram a couple weeks back before I left to go on my trip, and I'll let him introduce himself and tell you guys more about himself. But I have been following this guy for a minute, and when it comes to like VFX and After Effects and editing and just all the stuff that I really nerd out about that you guys see me incorporating into my AI work, this guy is one of my favorites, and there's like very few things that get any better than what he currently does. And he recently just had a couple really big breaks. He did something for Converse, and he did something with Will Smith that also got collaborated on with Will Smith on his Instagram. So, SirDushon, why don't you go ahead and give the people the intro about yourself, and then after that, just so you have context of who we are, I will tell you more about Civitai, and then we'll get rolling.
Fire. Dude, thank you for the introduction. That's insane. I'm a creator out of SoCal, Inglewood. Well, I don't fully rep Inglewood, but grew up in Orange County, California. And yeah, just a creator at heart, and in all ways and shapes and forms too, from dancing to directing, cinematography, visual effects, sound design. Like I'm all over the place. And let me not forget, freaking gamer. I'm gaming more now, so we yeah, man. I just refer to myself as a creator. Ultimately, my boy Jacob calls me a pixel architect, which I love.
That seems accurate.
Yeah, like he threw that name at me, I think last year, and I was like, yeah, that works. So that's moi.
Okay, here, instead of trying to explain it, which video on the page that I'm on right now do you think best represents what you do? And we'll show them the Will Smith and the Converse thing, but yeah, which one here do you think is like the perfect introduction for you?
Let's go ahead and do the banger. The one of me running at myself. I freeze myself. I dance. Do the whole jig.
Which one is that here? Is that
Let's go down one.
Oh wait, I gotta actually refresh it. Well, let me scroll here.
Oh, gotcha. Nice.
Instagram on the browser gets crazy. Oh, the 2.2 million.
Sure.
All right. And just to give context, you filmed all this with your cell phone, right?
Yes, everything is on my phone.
Which makes it even crazier. Okay, guys, watch this.
Sir. Yeah, I was asking if you had.
It's so insane.
Thank you, man.
It's so insane.
It's weird watching it back because I know precisely where I was, like the headspace, and then being like, oh yeah, let me just do this. Insane.
So just so everyone has some context here, how long did this video take you to do from start to finish?
Ooh, this was about a 2-weeker. And it's funny too, because this was one where like I was working on it for about a week, and then it got to a point where I started getting tired of working on it. I was like, dude, like actually get this video out my face. I don't want to work on it. And then lo and behold, like by the time I finished it, I was like, all right, cool, this is sick. And then it just took on a life of its own. So yeah.
Awesome. Well, okay. Just so I didn't realize that, like, I didn't even give you any context as to what Civitai is. I was just like, yo, come on this stream that I do, because we were connected on Instagram with one another. So let me show you real quick, just so you know what it is that we do. Let me just make sure my filters on the website are on, because our website is not censored.
Got you.
So, okay. Civitai.com is the largest AI art and AI art resource website on the internet for people that use open source AI software like Stable Diffusion. There's usually two really big camps in AI. There's like Midjourney, which I know you know what Midjourney is, right? And then there's Stable Diffusion and Flux and models that, if you want to and you have the right type of PC setup, you can run locally on your PC rather than paying a platform to generate images.
Gotcha. Okay.
So what people post on our website are not just cool images and videos that they make, but the entire website, the community are training AI models and things called LoRAs, which are like condensed down models that can help you get specific characters or art styles. But people are training models and then uploading them to the site to share with the community.
Yeah. Dude, insane.
And so, like, if we just clicked explore models, so there's like, just here at the top right now, like these are all different types of models that people have trained, and it just goes on and on and on.
Infinite AI pool.
And here,
you definitely shared this with me when we first talked. I just didn't remember the name, but dude, this is actually insane.
So okay, here's one that I know you can appreciate. So see this thing that says Neon Graffiti Flux?
Yeah.
So this model basically will help people generate things in this like graffiti style. So it's all like that. So I tested it with you know what the KAWS figures are, right? The vinyl figures, KAWS.
No.
Bro.
KAWS,
yeah, you've seen them. You've seen them. So I tested it with. I trained a model on the KAWS figures so that I can make images of KAWS in like all kinds of crazy things. Let me just find it real quick because I tested it and it was really dope.
Whoa.
Right. So
Early.
So this is me combining a model I trained on the likeness of the KAWS figure with this neon graffiti model.
Dude.
Then you mash them up and you can get really cool images.
Insane. Just to see like the accessibility and like how it can be made. I'm like, bro, what? There's that exact style just thrown onto KAWS, and I'm like, but that was like, that's an input, like that's just been made.
So think of bringing this back to what you do, and I just want to throw this out there for you, and then I want to talk about your stuff and focus on you because I want these guys to get really inspired by you. So, if you could generate images, right, of any type of environment you could think of and any style you could think of, run those images through something like Runway or Kling or one of the services that take an image and then turn it into a video.
Yeah.
You could then motion track that video of that environment that you created, and then you could place the rotoscope of yourself in After Effects in said environment.
Copy.
And it all starts just from generating an image.
Bro, I've had so many conversations about like, oh, we're in the future. It just to hear what you said is like, bro, what are we talking about? That is insane. That is insane.
And instead of
2005-year-old self, like, bro, we have like AI, artificial intelligence.
Wow. Instead of always having to build your environment in Blender,
Yeah.
Right. You could also incorporate this stuff where you could generate whatever environment you want, throw it into Runway or something, and just like tell it that you want a fly through drone shot, whatever, and then boom, motion track it.
Wow. Again, just to that accessibility, because I mean, you explain like, you know, having to go through Blender and like that's a whole process within itself. But then to be like, we can just generate it, like it's just there. That's insane, dude.
So, okay, before we dive into talking about more of your stuff, I want to show people the two big videos that you just did, the one for Will Smith and then the one for Converse. And then after those, then we'll kick off the conversation. All right, so here is the Will Smith video. Let me audio.
Tell me who cold is me. I'm right where I'm supposed to be. I mean, I'm right where that poster be. Save all the jokes for me, cause it ain't a joke to me. I pull up with gang, they gon' turn around and make a toast to me. Look at this code on me.
Yeah, man. And then Converse.
With the real world. This is the beginning of meditation.
End the loop. End the loop. So, yeah, man, it's actually all insane. So, okay, I want to know how you even got into this. How did you start doing this type of work?
Okay. So you can throw it back to when I was 8. I used to do flip book animations. So like with stick figures. So I would like beg my parents to go to the 99-cent store and buy like Post-it notes. So I could draw a stick figure on like one page, go to the next page, the stick figure's in another position, next page, another position, and I would like make the stick figure run or jump or fly, whatever. And that ultimately came from the fact that like I never really practiced drawing. So there's always this frustration of like, why am I not getting better? It went to something like animation and I was like, oh, well, I can actually like take this drawing and like make it lively. So in that, like got a Nintendo DSi when I was 10 that had this app called Flipnote Studio on it. And I was doing animations like front to back. So that gave me like the foundation of like creating scenes and like ultimately like visual effects. Cause it was like, okay, so if I'm taking a stick figure and like giving him like a Kamehameha power blast, like, okay, how could I like bring that into real time? So like, I was always like, I said this before, you know, like the meme, like you got games on your phone,
Yeah. Yeah.
So that for me was like back in the day, I'd be like, oh, like, can I use the video feature on your phone? Like, you have a video camera? Can I use that? Because I just wanted to shoot stuff. And it was like especially good if you had like the pause feature on the video camera function. Because like you could take a video, you could pause it and then go somewhere else, play it. And then it would be like a scene. It would actually cut. And I was obsessed with that. So it was like that just translated into like I was making dance videos for a while. So like from 2016 to about like, let's say like 2018, just like standard dance videos, but with a bit of a twist. And it wasn't until my senior year of high school where I got thrown into video production and broadcast. And again, making videos just on my phone. I was just making just pure phone videos. And my teacher was like, yo, like you're making these kind of videos on your phone. And I was like, yeah. And he was like, nah. Okay, cool. In the back, we're going to teach you Adobe Premiere. Mind you, I'm scared shitless at this point for any Adobe product. I was like, dude, like it looks too alien. He might have run me through like 30 or 45 minutes of just like the basic structure. And from that point on, I just went. So from there, I think in like 2019, I began to venture off into like After Effects and, you know, applying line animations the same way that I was doing for stick figure animation.
How difficult was After Effects for you when you first started trying to dive into it?
That's an interesting question. Honestly, it wasn't too bad. I think because of the fact that like I had the knowledge of Adobe Premiere, which was like basic cutting, adding sounds, maybe certain transitions. But then for After Effects, like, I had the paint tool, which was already familiar to me with doing animations. So I already knew like, oh, okay, I can just animate and go frame by frame. I already know this. And then from that point on, I just kind of ventured off into different things. So it wasn't actually too bad. It wasn't as scary as I thought it would be. Gotcha.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of us with After Effects, it's one of those things where you just kind of like got to jump in off the deep end.
You got to. And then too, it's like, I tell everyone this, that once you get into it, but like once you get the structure, then you can explore. Like you can just do whatever. And at that point is when you can like get more comfortable. You can do more things that you're going for. So yeah, I feel it though. It's scary. It'd be scary.
Yeah, man. So the thing, and I know that I kind of brought this up when we were talking before we went live, but something that I really want to talk about is how much content would you say you consume versus the time you spend actually creating? Like, would you say because of how long your stuff takes to make? Because you said like one video could be like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Would you say that you are spending more time creating than consuming, or is it still vice versa?
Dude. Okay, so speaking of pre-convo, so I mentioned like, oh, first time I've spent 3 consecutive days of just like not doing anything. Like, it's kind of always been more creation than consumption, but I've had to balance that. So now that ratio is starting to be like, okay, let me stop and watch a couple of videos, or let me watch a movie and like consume, or let me go outside. How about that? Let me just exist for a second. So it's starting to balance itself.
Do you feel like when you're editing that things you've watched like subconsciously leak into the things you make, or are you pretty good about, because I look at your stuff and I can't really think of anything else I see while scrolling that looks like what you make.
Okay, I like that.
Which is typical. Which is like nowadays super difficult.
Yeah, for sure.
What would you say like your secret to keeping it original is? In a day and age where it's so easy for us to be like subconsciously influenced by everything.
Yeah. I mean, I think one of the things that really holds me just to, that authenticity is like, for one, trusting my ideas, even to like, all right, perfect example, like Tyler, the Creator, just dropped an album. Kendrick Lamar out of nowhere just dropped an album. I'm doing a video right now for one of Tyler's songs, knowing that like, oh, but the thing that's hot right now is Kendrick, because he just dropped. And I had to trust like, no, like I still want to do this video. Like, sure, everything is going crazy. So that's going to be like a pinpoint through the hoopla. Well, I won't say hoopla, but like through that noise that Kendrick is making, because of the fact that like, no, I'm sticking to what I want. So even to like ideas, like I know, for perfect example, like I love playing games. I love watching videos. I love watching movies. I love raving. Like that's all the things that I have within my bubble. So I'll take real life experiences or real life scenarios that I know are niche to me in my own experience that might have a little sauce from a video game that I played in 2008 that sticks with me subconsciously, but I don't realize it. Stuff like that, where it's like, I know that's specifically me. So I really feel like a part of that is just, trusting your own experience and like what is your taste? I think knowing what your taste is, that's like a huge pinpoint.
Okay. So then here's a better question off of that is how, for people that are still trying to find their voice or their style, whether it's in AI, whether it's in non-AI, just period, right? Yeah. How would you try to like give someone advice on how to cultivate their taste, or how to like figure out and develop their taste? Like, what?
Good one.
Yeah. And think about for a second, because that's something that I'm always trying to figure out is, okay, I have these things that I'm really good at doing, but
Yeah.
where does it go from here? How do I evolve this? What's the next step? And that next step usually comes by getting more inspired by something new or by having new experiences and then bringing those new life experiences into it. But
yeah,
do you put any, like, is there anything you would do specifically to help grow your taste, or as a beginner, how would you go about doing that?
I would say my strongest reference point to something like that in regards to, like, again, just to that authenticity conversation is like your inner child. Like, what's your favorite inner child food? What's your favorite childhood toy? What's your favorite memory from your childhood? I feel like well, at least in some cases, like, operating from your inner child is like so strong, because like that's where you're the most curious, like that's where you're the most playful, that's where I feel you explore the most, because it's like, I mean, I'll reference Tyler the Creator again. Like, he's talked about like 7-year-olds that are so definitive in their decision because they know, like, oh, I like that, oh, I don't like that, oh yeah, that's cool, that's great. Like, you know it because it's like it's so potent to you, and like that's a really early experience. So I think for something like embodying the inner child and really trusting the fun and the curiosity within that can really cultivate really strong ideas within that authenticity, because it comes from such a pure space. That's
okay,
like,
so it sounds like you've been pretty creative from a young age, because you mentioned like starting to, like, you know, draw on the Post-it pads when you were 10.
Yes.
Okay. I started dancing when I was 16.
Okay.
But I didn't buy my first camera or even venture into anything else creative outside of dance until I was like 26 or 27. So creativity for me was I would consider that later in life, even though I'm not saying that's old, but I would say, like, you know, I wasn't like an art kid or anything like that.
Yeah.
But then once I found it, it was like, where has this been my whole life? Just like that need to make things.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people lose touch with that, with the inner kid that will allow them to actually be creative and play and stop worrying about what people think as they get older, just as life starts to kick your ass, right?
Yeah, man. We can talk about it, bro. You know.
But okay. So you've really blown up. Like,
yeah.
that one video, because I remember seeing your stuff. I'm like, there's no way this guy doesn't have 100,000 followers yet. No way. And I couldn't figure out why your stuff didn't go more viral than it was. Since that one blew up, how has your world kind of changed?
Man, well, interestingly enough, like, that video took off after I got out of homelessness. The craziest shit, like just the wildest shit. So my life was already kind of like, wait, what? Like, I'm not sleeping in my car. I'm not having to like charge my phone and my MacBook and work out of Starbucks or the mall. Like, what? So that was already like, whoa. And then from that point of like the video taking off, it was like, you know, having an experience like, you know, my family looking at me crazy, like, hey, I don't think this creation thing is working for you. And my friends being like, dude, are you okay? Like, it, for one, was like proof that my work wasn't in vain, because it was like, no, I see something in this. Like, this makes sense in my head. And obviously, like, I'm putting it out and I enjoy it. It was always trusting that, like, no, I enjoy doing this. I don't want to work. Like, no, let me do this thing. So it was like, you know, having it where the conversations began to change within the family front, where it's like, now there's more trust being established. Now there's like curiosity. I'm going to keep using that word, like curiosity of like, oh, so what are you doing next? And like, oh, this is cool. All these different things. And then of course, you know, the insane amount of voices that are happening all at the same time. I didn't expect that video to pop off. That was one of those ones where it was like, all right, yeah, this is for fun. Let me get out of here. Cool. And that one just was like, boom. So, checking my emails for brand stuff, and then that actually happening, being like, oh shit, like people want to work. Oh, people want to collaborate. Oh, okay. Things are happening. It was like definitely a huge pivot in 180. So like, I mean, from like being invited to my first events as an influencer, like not like, hey, like let's go here, or like me having to make a pitch like, hey, can I shoot for you guys? It's like, no, like, hey, we want you to come through. Here's this pass. Like it's been interesting because it's like, oh, like as I say this all the time, as long as you continue to paddle, your boat will reach the shore, like no matter what. So like it's been,
you gotta keep paddling.
Yes.
But you gotta keep paddling.
Yeah, exactly. But you gotta keep paddling.
Here's the part where I think a lot of people lose it is they stop paddling before they even gave themselves a chance.
Yes. 100%, dude.
With as short of an attention span as we all have now, thanks to all this wonderful stuff that is allowing us to make a living.
Yes. Well said.
Even with the attention spans being shorter, the thing that has not gotten any shorter is the amount of time it takes to, one, get exceptional at something, and two, get said thing to actually be seen by people. Like both of those things take tenacity, and you just gotta stick with it. And you gotta get through the phase of, I'm spending all this time making this stuff and no one's seeing it.
Yeah. I mean, that can be defeating in most cases, especially too. I mean, if we're talking about like just the aspect of that immediate response, like, I mean, instant gratification, that shit sucks, especially if you're not being fed that. Like, it's like, oh, okay, I'm doing the thing. And then to like, if you're constantly seeing people that are taking off, or the look of overnight success where someone drops something that's like, boom. And it's like, but you don't know everything leading up to that point. I can see why people would be like, well, damn, no one's even giving me the time of day. But I really feel like it's that core of like, well, why do you do it? Are you doing it because you want that result, or because it's fun? Like, trusting that core, I feel, is everything. So like, I feel why people throw in the towel before they can even see what's happening on the other side. Cause like, it takes a lot. It definitely takes a lot of that strength. So bro, I feel that.
Even for me, once I found the AI stuff and I started, so my strategy was, because if you scroll further back on my Instagram, you'll see it's nothing but dance videos that I was shooting and editing for people, right? Yeah. And then it transitioned to AI stuff. And once I posted a few AI videos, influencers that were larger than me started reaching out to collaborate on videos.
Yeah.
And so I climbed the influencer ladder that way. My account was nothing but collaborations.
Yeah. Okay, so just a question for you is like, so how did you manage collaborations, and did you ever feel yourself getting lost in it? Like, did you ever like, oh, I don't want this identity.
There are more videos than I could count on two hands that I made for people, and I'm not going to say names because I worked with a lot of people, but there are a lot of videos I made that, one, I wasn't necessarily a fan of what said person did.
Yeah.
Two, I wasn't really a fan of how said person really interacted with me or talked to me. Okay. Or three, it's not what I wanted to do. But there's trade-offs you have to make if you're trying to make something happen every now and then.
For sure.
I'm not saying you got to sell out. You don't have to sell out, but there are definitely times in content creation, if this is what you're doing, where there's a mean to an ends. And so I did that. And then ironically enough, my first like viral video was one that I did on myself with not on myself, but by myself with no collaborators.
Nice.
And that video got 11 million views, and right at 11 million, it hit the wall. And Instagram was just like, okay, you've had enough.
Hey, we know that. We know that space. Wow.
But and this is something for you to keep in mind too, even though your stuff is going to keep blowing up, man. You're going to like, you're as long as you keep doing what you're doing, your stuff is just going to get crazier and crazier.
Man,
for me though, it took a whole nother year and about like a year and some change of posting consistently 5 times a week.
Okay.
For the next big pop off.
Yeah. Wow. Dude, that's gnarly. I mean, yeah, we talking about paddling. Man, I'm posting every 3 weeks, if that. So 5 times.
Yeah, but it's different. You know, I'm using AI, so I'm able to cut some of that stuff in. I'm able to cut a lot of the manual labor stuff into a fraction of what it would take.
For sure. Hey, man, I always I tell people like, yo, I don't blame you if you don't put yourself out there, because I feel like it takes courage to even like represent yourself in a certain way. Like to even, hey, I'm going to do this and I believe in it. Yeah. Like just with like how we deal with perception or how we deal with like, oh, what are they thinking? We talked about that. Like, oh, what are they thinking? Like that takes courage. So I'm just on that level. I commend you. And like 5 times. And did you trust that it would work, knowing that you had something that was already an example of that?
So unlike the dancing food videos, which have a clear formula, that first one that went crazy had the only reason I could think of why it went viral is because at the time the dance clip that I used was the most viral clip from the Stance Elements Instagram page.
Okay. And
there is something about that specific dance that girl did to that song in that moment that just captivated people. And like even watching it through the screen, because you know the difference between watching someone dance in person and seeing it on a cell phone, right? There's like 2 completely different things to see it and to feel it.
Absolutely.
Even through the screens, you could tell that. And the clip I'm referring to is of this girl, Sarah, who's from Spain, doing a round to Mona Lisa by Chris Brown and LJ. It was a really big I'm a Piano song at the time. And this was at like a Red Bull Dance Your Style in South Africa. And she killed it. Oh my God. And you could tell even through the screen that this girl had a moment. And that was the base video that I used. And even with the AI on it, people had the same connection to it.
Which is crazy because like we talked about energy and seeing and feeling it. So for it to be through a filter of said AI and for that to still be felt, like that's insane. That showed for itself. That's insane.
So bringing it back to you though, do you like right now, if you had to manifest like a dream job or a dream gig for you to do your stuff for, what would that be? Let's speak that into the universe right now.
I'm looking at James Hype, who is a really insane DJ, right on my screen right now. DJing, headlining festivals, having my own festival, touring with my own visuals behind me, because I'm a performer at heart. Like that's been my thing, and I'm realizing more now, which is I appreciate the question, by the way. But I'm realizing more now, like I love to edit, but it's not my end all. It's certainly not.
Okay. Okay. No, actually, I was gonna say I can't believe that, but no, I can believe that because of the way that you do these skits and you perform to yourself in your videos.
Yes, 100%. No, I appreciate that.
Which, by the way, do you script these out beforehand, or do you just kind of like go off the riff?
Just wing it. So actually, the first video that you showed, that was like like a sprinkle of an idea of like, okay, I want to have just some batshit crazy moment. I dance, cool, and then I like chop myself. But like 60% of that was like improv. Just like, all right, let me try that. Even the shot where I like snap out of this like kind of psychosis and I'm like, sir, like, hey, sir, that idea came as I was shooting it to be like, wait, maybe he should be like stuck in a delusion. Like he thinks he got him wiped out, but then he's actually not. And then it goes into like a second thing. So a lot of what I do, like it's like a general idea. And then I'll be like, all right, let's shoot it. And then I do it. And I'm like, oh, that would be cool too. I think the only one where I was like, this needs and requires every bit of attention, writing it out to script and everything was that riff video that I was talking about.
Gotcha. Yeah, man. I could definitely see you doing the performance thing and then having the VFX be almost just like secondary.
Yeah. It's like it's been interesting too because I mean you referred to like just what that pocket was for me of blowing up and taking off, and it was like being excited about the fact that everything is going off. And I'm like, dude, that's sick. But then realizing like, oh damn, I want to DJ. Like I want to take some time to actually practice and like, oh, I actually just want to play games. But I think because of I think I can attribute this to like just the concept of the American dream. Like we work so that we can experience a life where we can be free and whatever. So maybe that might not be it for everyone, but just in a sense of like doing everything and doing a core thing. And then for me to be like, oh shit, well, there's actually more that I'm interested in, but seeing it work to go, okay, there's enough breathing room to even acknowledge that. Because beforehand of like, there was no way I was thinking on this while sleeping in my car. Cause it's like, oh, I need to get this done. I need to edit, like knock something out.
Yeah.
But yeah. It's been interesting.
What a change and what a difference it makes, right? When you can create from a place where you're not under pressure to do so, and you can just make stuff for the sake of making stuff without like necessarily worrying about like a bill being paid or something like that. I think that's the most freeing moment for anyone that's doing this is if you start, because like even I started off with my camera and with the editing, it went from a place of, okay, I'm doing this just for fun because I have a real stable job before this, right? Before all this. And that job that I had for 5 years and that steady paycheck that allowed me to dump all my free time into After Effects and my camera, poof, disappeared overnight because that job was in crypto.
Wow. Okay.
And my paycheck that my life was built around went away overnight. Like literally one day I had a job and medical and all that stuff, and the next day I did not.
Wow.
And I immediately had to turn the cap and be like, okay, well, all this stuff that I have been doing just for fun, like I am now a professional.
Yeah.
But there was an insane amount of pressure to make money with it.
Yeah.
And that did not help me make good stuff. But once I got it to the point where it was now, okay, wait, the bills are paid, then like you can start to find what you're looking for.
Absolutely. Dude, would you say that in that transition that it tainted your relationship to your creativity?
I will say that no matter how much you love something, if you're doing it for both the joy of doing it and because it's your career, there are moments where it all feels like a job.
Yeah.
There are definitely those moments, but I'd rather have those moments with something I love and doing it for myself than not have those moments and just wake up and want to shoot myself going to a job that I loathe every day.
Hey, I feel you. I feel you 1000%. Damn, bro. I commend you for pushing through, bro. Because to switch, to lose stability, and then to have to go, oh, okay, this thing that was once a hobby we cracking down, and then you're doing it. You're currently doing it.
And likewise, man, to go to be editing on a laptop in coffee shops and to be sleeping out the car and trying to figure it out doesn't look like you're in your car right now.
Yes, sir. Bro, I'm grateful. Thank you, bro. I'm grateful, bro.
But so this past year obviously has probably, would you say that this year was like the biggest year for you so far creation wise?
Absolutely. Yeah. 100%.
So to get to the stuff that you ultimately would like to be doing, what's the immediate next step for you from where you currently are?
I mean, damn, so of course just finished Converse. What was it? Today's Friday. Holy shit. So that was, a couple days ago. It's just dumping more content, and just getting it going. And then too, even like intertwining like DJing content. Cause it's like, okay, cool. If I know that this is what's on my heart, then like, how can I mix it in? Which it's cool because I was even going over this yesterday before I went to sleep. I was like, oh, I'm at this really cool moment, kind of similar to what you were talking about, of being able to go like, whoosah, okay, bills are paid. Okay, this is cool. This is in the works. Great. There's no longer that hyper attentiveness to this needs to get done because X, Y, and Z has to get paid. So it's like, okay, so, having more time to practice what I want, even having more time to practice dancing. I dance. And it's like the dancing portion of me, I wouldn't want to say it suffers, but it's like, but that's not getting the attention that I would love for it to get because I'm tapped into
guilty too.
Right. Like, it's like
guilty too.
I want to get into it. So I'm in a really cool point right now where like, I have some downtime to write out some ideas, some time to, section off time to go, let me give a couple hours to DJing. Let me give a couple hours to practicing some dancing. Make sure I give some hours to playing games and not doing nothing. Even going outside and standing in the grass to be like, wow, the sun, the air feels great. Like just life.
Speaking of which, your stuff is obviously so heavily inspired by video games because you always got like a start menu or a continue screen or there's something, even if it's just the sound effects.
Yes,
they're crazy. So what games are inspiring your stuff the most?
Ooh, that's a cool one.
Because I would almost watch your stuff and be like, ooh, this guy played the hell out of Contra.
That's cool. That's cool. I've never actually played it, but I want to say there was. Did you ever play PlayStation 2 growing up?
Bro, yeah, of course.
Okay,
which by the way, wait, how old are you?
24.
Yeah, bro, I got some gaming years on you.
Yeah, for sure. Okay,
I'm 37.
Oh, okay. So all right. So did you ever like there were these PlayStation 2 demo discs that would come in what I believe were Game Informer magazines?
Yep.
Bro. All right. So speaking of Contra, I remember there was a game called Stolen, like the Madagascar game was on the demo disc. To I think the original Black game, the Army game. And I remember there was a Contra trailer. And I was like, oh, that looks cool. But I never could consciously as a 5 or 6 year old be like, hey dad, let's go get Contra. It was just like, oh, that looks cool. So never played Contra, but it was in my sphere. But to games that inspire me, like I'm playing Dead Space Remastered right now, which is freaking gnarly.
Yeah.
That's getting my jitters going. In regards to like what inspires me the most game wise,
that finds its way into your videos.
Devil May Cry.
Okay.
Devil May Cry is like the slashers, the God of Wars, even to like I just saw the save screen today, Resident Evil 4, like real gnarly. Like I love the Capcoms. I love Japanese games, if I'm being honest.
Bro, you got to find a way to integrate the Resident Evil inventory screen into one of your videos because that is iconic. Because you put the stuff in the chest, and it's just
Let me note that down because absolutely. I mean, that's Resident Evil 4 is one of my favorite games of all time. So yeah, that's I appreciate that. You'll see that somewhere. I'll be like, hey, Tyler, hell yeah. But yeah, those are some of like my go-tos. Again, the Devil May Cries, Resident Evils, even I'm about to pick up Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart.
Ooh, yeah, for the PS5 one, right?
Yeah.
It's
like,
so good. It's so good. Yeah.
Oh.
I played it when it came out. It's so good.
Dude. Okay, did you play the OG Ratchet and Clanks? You have some years on me.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, which is why I know the new one is insane. Because just everything with the PS5, they did it so yeah.
Fuck yeah. Okay. So yeah, even to those, like I played Ratchet and Clank Up Your Arsenal, Ratchet and Clank Deadlocked. I didn't play the very first one, but like those are some of the things that like had my 6-year-old self being like, oh, this is so cool. So yeah. Listen
So here, just since we got about 10 more minutes until the top of the hour here, and I won't hold you for too much longer because I know you're probably super busy. But what is your, just to tie it back into everything that we do, and don't be afraid, you can totally be candid here. It's all good. What from what you know about AI, what's your, as someone who creates the type of videos you create, what's been your initial thought on kind of like the direction it's going in the industry that we're in?
Okay. That first reaction, that's a great question. I think that first reaction, complete vulnerability, a little bit of fear, a little bit of like, hey, whoa. And then it turned to like, well, we have a very niche and specific way of operating because we're human. Like that requires emotion, story. Like we have so many factors that I feel AI could only replicate to a certain extent. But the human hand, man, like we're humans. We our fingers can move, our eyes can move around. We can communicate to each other. Like that's something that's so effective and is proven to be effective. Like, that's how we're here right now. So again, that knee-jerk reaction was like, whoa, damn, that's crazy. Especially to seeing how fast it's been growing. Because it's like, that didn't look how it looked a week ago. That's a little bit cleaner. But I think also to seeing Adobe be like, hey, we're integrating AI, and to also, again, to that knowing of like, well, I know where my experiences come from and how that's integrated into my work, into my art form, what inspires that. That's one of one, baby. Like that's not going to go anywhere. Over time, it's been like, oh, cool. To even like talking about like Kyber AI, where I was like, oh, dude, like I could work this in somehow, and it's helpful because it's like if I don't want to work on a certain section, hey, take it away, buddy. Let's do it. Do your thing. So yeah, that was like the process of being like, wait, let me get curious. Again, that curiosity.
So, okay. And just throwing it out there, let me know if you would be down with this. I would love to get you on another one of these sometime in the next maybe like month or month and a half or so, on a Thursday or Friday where you have maybe like an extended period of time.
Okay.
And we work on a project live on the stream.
That'd be sick.
Where I actively help you integrate AI into a small piece.
Down. That's sick.
Because not only do I think it would be a really dope process that you would enjoy, I think all of these people would just like absolutely love to nerd out and watch us do that.
I'm down. That's honestly, that's healing. Cause I know there's a lot of artists out there that are like genuinely fearing for their lives. Like, oh, my job will be taken.
So here's the two sides of the coin. I get it.
Yeah.
Like I understand that because it's like, okay, if we're being completely candid here, the AI models are not, most of them are not trained on licensed stuff, and the best ones have scraped the whole shit of the internet, right?
Yeah.
But and here's a question I'm going to pose to you.
Okay.
What's the difference? What would you say the difference is between someone being inspired by something who doesn't use AI, and then going and taking that inspiration and making something, anything, a picture, a video, whatever, that clearly has traces of that inspiration and that original source material in it, versus someone doing it using the AI model that's been trained on that same inspired artwork. And at the end of it, the final output of both processes, AI and non-AI, neither one of them look exactly like the original piece. So they both meet the marker of this is changed enough to be considered transformational.
Okay.
And not a copy.
Yeah.
What's the difference between both of them? The only like where does that line, if the final output, the thing that matters, the only thing that matters at the end of everything is what the end result is. What makes a difference whether or not it's inspiration via my eyes or inspiration that's been trained into a machine?
Okay. So I'm gonna ask you to repeat it. That was a hefty question.
Yeah. Okay. I'm sorry.
Yeah, run it back.
At what point do we draw the line between something being transformational enough if the machine being trained on it or the artist being inspired by it both produce an output that completely transform the source material?
Okay.
Is there a difference?
So train as in like the AI, obviously it goes to, you said it scrapes the internet, so it's getting so many reference points.
It's getting billions of images, and the thing that you're inspired by just happens to be one of the images among those billions.
Okay. Okay. I'm still like compartmentalizing the question. You said, what's the difference?
Well, because the argument from a lot of people is that AI is ripping artists off.
Yeah. Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
And that AI can't do what it does without the training data from the original artists.
Yeah.
Neither can people.
Right, because we're also doing that same thing of like, oh, we like this, let me take it, do my own version. Okay, so the question being, what's the difference between the two if we're also doing that exact same thing?
Or is there a difference?
Okay, now I got the question. Okay.
Yeah.
Damn.
Because if at the end of the day, the final result isn't a 1-for-1 copy.
Yeah.
And if we look at it and we wouldn't be able to tell like, oh, this is from that artist, then is there, I'm sorry. I know that was a lot, and sometimes I have a hard time phrasing it. Like I know what I'm saying, but it's like it's just a question that I'm always thinking about is, is something being transformed beyond a certain point? Does that make everything we're doing morally okay? And I think yes.
Yeah, for sure. That's a really good question. And no, we walked through that. I was like, wait, I want to make sure I understand this. Okay. So, I mean, because you're right. Like we're ultimately doing the exact same thing because it's like we're looking and searching the same way that we do. You mentioned like our eyes are doing that. So it's like, honestly, I would say no, there really isn't a difference. It's just one is a non-functioning human that ultimately has more to reach into because it's like AI is everywhere. Whereas for us, it's like, of course, we're tapping in as a singular human. I would say there is no difference because it's like, again, it's inspiration. And then, as you said, it's like, it's not a direct copy. It's a reference point. It might reference this artist, but like also too, if we're inspired by a movie and we do either a spin-off or some kind of alternate version, that's that exact same sentiment. Yeah, is that something that's already being discussed, or is that like your own core question?
I don't. It's a question that I've arrived to a lot because it's the best way that I can figure out to kind of like frame what's actually going on and where the importance of it all lies to people that have those strong feelings and that want to make that argument. Because like I've had 3D artists on, flame my posts telling me that it's all soulless, trash, garbage, whatever. But then I go to their page and their page are just all 3D animations they made of Pokemon.
That's a reference point. That's a reference point. Like that's
what's the difference? You're not the creator of Pokemon, so it's like at some point, I think at some point everyone is going to be using AI in some capacity. Whether they realize it or not, they already are.
Yeah. ChatGPT is literally my therapist right now. If I'm being so honest.
You should switch to Claude. That way, at least when people ask you your therapist name, you could tell them Claude instead of ChatGPT.
Let's do it. Fair.
But no, what I would say, just to kind of wrap this all up, is the people that artists should be afraid of, like, things taking their jobs are guys like you once you learn to use AI. Like once you learn to use all the stuff that we interact with on a daily basis, and I'm not saying like just put AI in all your things, but I encourage everyone that comes on here, whether they use it or not, is to look at it as just another tool in the belt.
For sure.
At the end of the day, that is all it is.
Absolutely. Dude, that's dead on. That's all it is. It's just like, that's where I've said at the point where I became comfortable with the idea of like, oh, this isn't going to destroy me. I'm still me. I'm going to be here. I was like, oh, okay, let me implement it in some way. Actually, there's a video that I actually use some AI in it. And I was like, oh, this is actually sick. It's watching those worlds collide. And I know two other artists that are afraid, that have had that same knee-jerk reaction, that can allow them to go, oh, like maybe it's not so bad. Even for you, watching you do all AI, I'm like, oh, dude, that's sick. And you're getting really sick results. So yeah, dude, tool, 100%.
Okay. To wrap this up here, let everyone know where they can find you and where they can keep up with you. And any last words you want to say to our AI community here that's watching it and to the people that will ultimately watch it on YouTube next week. I went ahead and shared your Instagram in the Twitch chat so people can find you and follow you on there. But yeah, let them know where they can keep up with you.
Dude, first of all, honored to be here. Thank you for having me. SirDushon across everything, SirDushon. And I say just keep creating. Creation makes the world go round, man. That's what we're here for. Say for me.
Yo, Dushon, dude, to me, you are a legend. You are already a legend.
Thank you.
Bro. And it's only a matter of time before more people realize and before you are at 1 million followers for all the crazy stuff that you do. So it's been a pleasure talking to you. I always joke around and tell these guys that they just get to be flies on the wall to me talking to like people whose work I really admire. And these are all selfish streams for me, but I really appreciate you coming on to do this, especially not even really having an idea of what we are. I really would like to circle back with you and we do like an extended stream that would be like 2 hours or so where we go back and forth and we work on a project live and I help you integrate some of the more heavy AI stuff into something that you do. I think that would be a really dope exercise, not just for us, but for the community to witness. So please, let's circle back and do that because I haven't done anything like that on stream yet.
Bro, let's do it. Let's make the worlds merge. Let's do it, man.
Dope, man. Well, hey, hang out for just a second. Let me just close this out real quick. Guys, this has been a Friday Civitai guest creator stream. This is SirDushon The link to his Instagram is in the chat. Go give him a follow. You will not be disappointed anytime you see one of this man's videos pop up on your feed. I know I'm not. I always get mad inspired. I'm always like, oh, I'm going to go open up After Effects and try to make a video like this. And then I'm like, no, I'm not. Let's get some more syrup pole dancing right now. But we will be back on Monday on our regular schedule with Ali with our Civitai office hours stream. I'll be back on Thursday. We'll be crawling the website, testing models and featuring Laura's. I got a couple really dope ones that I found that I want to share with you guys. And in about 30 minutes, I'm going to be on Perz's stream and we're going to be generating really silly AI images of each other. So that's what we're going to do in 30 minutes. Dude, once again, thank you so much. I hope you have a wonderful holiday time and enjoy the rest of your weekend. And don't work too hard because I know you got something cooking in the background.
Man, thank you, bro. Honor, bro.
Dude, massively appreciate it. Hang out for 1 second. Stream is going off. Guys, appreciate you. Civitai.com. Follow us at Hello Civitai. I'll see you guys next week. Peace.